Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, January 21st. It is 6:23 right now. We got market opening up in about 7 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a few things here to update and we should be good to go. So we are good to go here. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. Sent out. As people join in, I'm going to go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here. Going down to the 1 hour. Down to the 30-minute. Down to the 15-minute. Down to the 10-minute. And down to the 1 minute here. All right, guys, we got liquidity marked up here. Closest level of liquidity above is at, let's see, 43,898. Closest level below is at 43,852. So good morning, everybody. Today's Tuesday, January 21st. It is 6:26 right now. We got market opening up in about 4 minutes. So hopefully everyone had a great weekend, great long weekend. We're going to be in store for something kind of interesting today. We'll see what happens when market opens here. I won't be taking the breakout. I'll be following it, but I'm not going to take it because I'm kind of worried about the volatility from this morning. And the breakout from yesterday, I know it was a holiday, but I still track the breakouts. Breakout from yesterday reached about like 90 points in TP, and then it fully reversed the other way. So it's just, another sign that there may be irregularities in the market for this first day as Trump is taking his presidency. So we'll see what happens here shortly, guys. I'm not too worried about like what's going to happen, but of course I want to be a little more cautious. So here's the SR zones marked up. The SR zones price is currently within a zone right now. Resistance is right here, support's down here. Here's the clean chart. You guys can see price is currently ranging between the 900 and the 850. Also gonna mark up. So this is a way I used to mark up bias a long time ago when I very first started trading. I'm gonna see if I could have an idea of like where I want to avoid, or I want to look for trades, of course. Oh, this is not a good area right now. Okay, so I'm looking for buys today. Looks like our bias here is going to be bullish. I want to see where this number is at. 43,886. Okay. 43,886. So yesterday's close. Twenty-three eighty. Okay, it's gonna be right at the Asia high. So I'm gonna try to stay above the Asia high here, guys. I'm looking to take buys above the Asia high. Um, that's kind of where like my bias is gonna be right now. You can see this zone I marked up down here. I want to stay above this area. So the breakout for today is gonna be a buy, guys. If you guys are looking to take the breakout for the day, it's gonna be a buy. I mean, expect some crazy movement here on open. I'm gonna hold off on taking any entries here, but my bias for today is I'm gonna try to keep buys. I'm mainly gonna look for buys today. So market is now open. Huge candle right here on open. Looks like price is almost up 50 points already, immediately on the opening candle there. So 50 points have been hit right here for the breakout, guys, if you guys are taking the breakout. Um, yeah, the 50-point mark right there was already hit. Next target is going to be the 100, of course. But the first target right there for the breakout has already been hit. Like I said, expect some irregularities in the market this morning because Trump's now in house. He got inaugurated yesterday. So expect the market to kind of be a little all over the place. Again, I'm looking for buy entries above a certain area. You guys can see the liquidity up top just got knocked out. I'm gonna let the market here kind of stabilize a little bit before we start looking for entries. Another thing that I look for the breakouts as well is the overall bias for the whole index. So looking over here, this is the Dow index. Basically everything here is a buy for the analyst. So I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna use a couple different criteria when analyzing the breakout in the morning because I feel like the breakout by itself is okay when the market's moving efficiently, but it hasn't been moving efficiently lately. So like, for example, right here, again, the breakout's still running, but you guys can see it's not very efficient, right? It's still kind of going back and forth. There's no like continuous push to the upside and there's no continuous push to the downside. It's just a straight, I mean, it's kind of a sideways move for a little bit here. So we'll see what happens shortly. But there's not any scalps for us to take here anyways. Price is currently sitting in between the sessions right here. Like I said, I'm mainly going to look for entries above this Asia high right here. Hey, David, morning. See who else is here so far. Morning, CJ. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Karen. Morning, Maria. Morning, Lila. Morning, Christian. Morning, everybody. All right, guys. So, yeah, kind of an anticlimactic day today. I was hoping there was going to be more volatility, some crazy spikes, some movement. There's movement, but it's still kind of like how it's been for the past couple months. Today's the first day of Trump being back in house, so I'm not expecting too much to happen, but price here is still going sideways. Hey, Glenn, morning. ATR is currently at 30 ATR right now, so there is volatility in the market, but you can see here that price is kind of just sitting right here down the middle. Like I said, I'm looking for price to push out of this area, and I'd like to take some entries out here. This is just my bias I've marked up. This is my manual bias. I was looking for buys here anyway. So there we go with the breakout still pushing to the upside. It's again at the 50-point mark. You can see he's having trouble getting past the sessions right here. Let me go ahead and mark up opening price. What is this green candle right there? All right, so price is pushing up. This is a good sign. We want the breakout to hit today because we want the breakout to be moving directional so that we can start looking for, future breakouts. So you can see right here, price still hasn't really have that. It doesn't have the push that we're looking for. So the breakout here still hasn't really broken out. It's still going sideways right here, as you guys can see. It's in the same range that I drew up here at pre-market. So look at the range here that I drew up pre-market at the 900 and the 850. Price is trying to break past it. It just hasn't had enough push to really get past this area right here, right at the 900 mark. So we'll keep looking for opportunities here for entry, but again, I'm not going to force any entries here. I'm going to look and be patient, just waiting for these setups to really come to us. I mean, regardless of the fact, we're still stuck within this range. So we got price breaking out of the resistance here now on the SR charts. Look, it's looking good, but again, like you can see over here, we have these big wicks that are trying to get past the zone over here, which have not been able to actually close outside. So the breakout is still running in profit, guys. It's at about, let's see, about like 60 or 70 points in profit right now as we speak. We got price in the area that I was looking for, like I said. So see if I can maybe start to get some micro scalps around here. So there's a couple different things to look out for here. If we get an engulfing candle, like a big green candle to the upside here, I'm expecting price to push up a lot higher. So like if we get a big green candle right here, following this red candle, it doesn't have to engulf the whole candle like right side by side, but if it's a big green candle that looks like it can basically eat up this red candle, then I'm expecting to push up pretty decently. Doesn't have to engulf on this specific candle, but it can engulf on this next one. Again, right here, you can see price is having trouble getting past that resistance, right? So again, right here, I marked up this area. I said price is trying to get past it, having a lot of trouble getting past that area. Again, same thing, still having trouble getting past this area here right now. Same right here on the clean chart. You can see I'm using different price points, different zones. The SR zone right here is at the 906 price. On our clean chart here is at the 900 price. Over here on our main chart, price is trying to get past the sessions. And again, right here on our bias chart, right? So like I said, I want price to stay above this zone right here. You guys can see where I marked up this zone. This black line right here is yesterday's close. You can see how price is coming back down, retesting that area and bouncing off it, right? So again, I want price to stay outside of this area here. I'll keep drawing this up for you guys. And we'll continue looking. So the one person that I'm mentoring right now, guys, for the month, like I said, I'm only mentoring one person per month. They were asking me like how can they mark up bias in a different way? Like for example, we used sentiment before, retail sentiment, but it's not really available anymore. So I showed them, I'm not going to mention their name because they're new to trading and they're kind of shy. But I showed them exactly how I used to mark a bias before. You can see it's pretty useful. Like you can see where the bias really is, right? Price is trying to get past this area, and I'm only going to trade around this area here. I think in the future, I'll probably teach you guys how to do this, or maybe I'll just put together some indicators that'll do it for you guys automatically. But this is like how I used to mark a bias before I use trend. This is a different way of marking a bias. It's not trend. We're not using a trend. This is using like market structure and previous market closes. This black line is yesterday's close, and then this black line up here was the resistance before close, and this black line down here is the support before close. So it's just using market structure to identify bias. So this whole zone right here. So if price stays within this area here, it shows that market's inefficient because it's staying where it was yesterday, right? This is where market closed yesterday. That's why I'm looking for buys here, because in order for market to be efficient, it needs to get out of this zone and go to a new zone, right? That's why I'm looking for price to stay out here. This is how I identify bias using market structure, not trend, none of the stuff that a lot of people use. This is just using market structure specifically to identify the market bias for the day. You typically want price to push out of the bot, like out of the zone from yesterday, right? You don't want it to be staying within the same zone. You want it to push up or push below. So again, we'll look for some entries here. Again, if you guys are looking to take some micro scalps, I would probably hold off right now because there's no direction. You can see how price is going back and forth right now. It's not the best area to be taking some micro scalps. We need price to actually be moving before we get into these micro scalps here. I'm looking for entries, but again, I'm being patient. I'm not forcing any entries here. I'm trying to stick to the game plan. So as you can see over here in the clean chart, again, price is trying to get past this upper resistance level, which is at the 43,900. Again, over here on the SR chart, price is trying to get past a resistance over here, which is at the 906. Again, you guys can see there's huge wicks on both sides. Like I said earlier, before market open, expect irregularities in the market. These are the irregularities I was talking about. You can see how price is trying to move, but every time it gets up, it gets spikes right back down. Gets up, spikes, etc. So we'll keep watching it here. I'm not going to force any trades. Like I said, we're going to try to be patient, try to wait for these entries to come to us. The breakout is still running, guys. It's running and it's in profit. Again, this is another reason why I was kind of like not so excited to take the breakout, because I was expecting stuff like this to happen today. I was expecting either crazy volatility where price would just shoot straight through, or I was expecting choppiness here because people are unsure what's going to happen next. If you guys have seen, he's been executing a ton of executive orders, which is basically flipping the whole world upside down right now. Right? Pulled out of a lot of things, planning on implementing a lot more tariffs. There's just a lot of stuff going on in the world. And this is why the market here is kind of like, it's unsure. It's unsure with what's going to happen and what's to do here. So once we get some direction here, I'll look for some microscopes again, but right now it's just not the time to look for this. I think I'd wait for a price to break out of this area first. So again, price is trying to break past this resistance point, which is the 43,900. And then we got the support over here, price trying to break past the 43,906. We got price kind of pushing up here on the main chart, trying to reach this higher high. It's knocking out that liquidity right there. All right, so we got price finally pushing up. We got the breakout pushing up in profit, almost to its TP. Finally got price up here. So here's where it becomes tricky again. It becomes tricky again because at this point, you don't know if price is going to fake out and swing back down, right? A lot of uncertainty here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to wait for this candle to close. If this candle closes with a wick on top, I'll put a pending order there for a quick micro scalp. Let me just move this over real quick. I'm going to log into my Apex over here. All right, let me see if I can get a. I'm hold off on right now, guys. I still don't think the market here is really moving very efficiently. I was going to put a pending order right there for a micro scalp, but I just don't think market here is moving efficiently yet. Looks like we might get a retest of this area. It's being a little cautious right now. Yeah, I just don't like how the candles are currently moving. The price action now is not super great. I'm gonna look for like one micro scalp to get filled, and then I'll look to take the entries. What I will be looking for is possible like some regular scalps here as well, B1 variations. Let me check the bias chart real quick. So this is why I'm kind of worried about taking micro scalps right now, because price is very overextended. There we go. So there goes one micro scalp right there that would have hit. Pushed him about 8 points. If you guys decided to take that micro scalp, the entry would have happened right here. So I wanted to see the price action first, but like I said, the bias here is, so looking at this bias chart, price is up about 45 points. It's not super far up, but it's a little far up right now. There goes a breakout. Breakout's still running to TP. Price is now climbing, so we're getting some volatility here, trying to get some direction. Okay, let's see. I could probably put a pending order up here now. I gotta wait for this candle to close properly though. There's gotta be a wick on top, and I gotta wait for it to actually close. Yeah, there's not gonna be opportunity there. It's too late. Maybe come down a little bit. Okay, the candles here are a little blocky, guys. So I'm gonna sit back and just kind of read the room real quick. See how this here. I wanted to get in right here, but like I said, I needed a wick to be there. I needed to pull back a little bit. As soon as the candle closed, it already pushed up. So there wasn't enough time to get into this entry over here. So here's an engulfing pattern. So this is what I was talking about earlier, guys. I said look for that engulfing candle to break past the red. So we're above in the bias area. We got a red candle here. I said look to see if there's an engulfing candle. There was an engulfing candle there. Entry could have happened right here for a buy and pushed about 30 points. One of the old strategies I used to apply a long time ago before I really factored in momentum. It's just based off market structure. Let's see if I can put a pending order.
Order submitted.
All right, so I got it right there in
Order
the profit,
filled.
guys, with my trailing stop locked in about 490 per account. All right, not bad right there. Quick little micro scalp. You guys saw my entry right there. There goes my buy, filled right here, pushed up, and then I got out right there. Okay. All right, look for another micro scalp here. Price, there's the volatility we were talking about, guys. Volatility is finally up. So I lowered my contract size a little bit. You'll see my profits are a little bit smaller than usual. So I did lower my contract size a little bit just to be safe with the market that we're currently in. That's my profits from that one. I'm gonna hold off right now. Price is currently at the sessions right there. It's at the London and New York high. Oh, I turned on the wrong account. That's why that error came up. It's all good. All right, so here are my profits from that trade right there, guys. Here are my accounts locked in about 490 per Apex account, 190 per Tradeify, and then 130 on my personal account right here. Just lower the contract size just a little bit for today, because like I said, just there's a lot of uncertainty, so it's kind of playing it safe. We got price above here. Looks like the breakout hit full TP. So if you guys take the breakout right there, this thing was nice, played out perfect. So maybe it's time to start taking the breakout again. But like I said, I'm gonna take it a little easy here first and kind of just read the market before I take any drastic steps. So the breakout here, full TP for 100 points. If you guys took that entry right there, it's a great move. Again, I skipped it following the risk off plan because the trade did not play through yesterday. It was understandable for yesterday, though. Yesterday was a holiday. It was MLK, so there wasn't enough volatility in the market. So we go full TP on the breakout for 100 points. If you guys took that, you guys had a lot of opportunity to get in, get out. You could have got it in, and then got out at 50 points, or you could have held on to it, got the full 100 points there. We got price climbing up higher right now as we speak. I think price is a bit overextended now, I think. Yeah, it's a bit overextended. It's out 100 points, so I'd probably be a little careful with this. There is an engulfing candle right here. So, I mean, if you want to take that risk, I mean, technically you can take a buy right here if you really want to take that buy. But I would probably be careful because, however far price is from this green line right here, this is going to indicate the overextension. It's out about 100 points. So basically price is pushed up over 100 points with no retracement. So it's just up to it's up to your preference. If you want to take something that's, the thing is you're in control of your account. I'll show you guys criteria and I'll show you guys warnings of when you should be careful. Right now is the time to be careful because let's see, price again, it's pretty far off from the pivots right here. It's off about 50 points. The bias I think is a lot more important though, because you can see here, it doesn't trail it as quickly. So when it goes past I'd say not even 100 points, maybe 90, maybe 80 points. When it pushes this far, it's okay, you should probably, put your foot on the brakes for a little bit because price is probably going to retrace a little bit from where it's currently at. So we got price way up here now. We can mark up some new levels. So locked in some decent profits so far. Again, if you guys are new here and you guys want to learn these strategies, these strategies are available to everybody here. If you guys want to learn what I'm doing here and you guys want to pick them up and apply them yourself, if you guys want access to these tools, feel free to go on the website, or if you guys are on the YouTube, just scroll down to the description. It says free Kodi Kai trading education right there. You can sign up to the free course. The free course looks like this, and it explains everything. All my tools, all my platforms, all of my strategies, including this micro scalp strategy that we took right now. I'm not teaching this to the general public. You can't find this video on YouTube because I don't want people to really know what we're doing here. So if you guys want to learn this specific strategy where I took this buy and I made about 400 per account, it's a very quick and easy strategy. You can find it on the course. It's completely free. If you want the tools, you have to pay for the tools. But if you just want to learn the strategy and try to do it on your own, you can do that. All these strategies you can do by hand. It's just without my tools, it makes it more difficult, right? It's hard to identify trend. It's hard to identify these high lows, hard to identify certain things in the market. It's hard to identify momentum. But, if you want to put in the work, you can still put in the work and still apply the strategies. So currently right here, we have a buy sell signal that's currently pending. If this sell signal closes, we may have opportunity for V1 variations or momentum reversals. We just need to get that retracement signal. The only problem is that we're sitting right here at the sessions. We don't want to trade around the sessions right here, which is a red flag. Looking over here, let me see how far we are from the bias now. Okay, so let's pull back a little bit. There's going to be opportunities here for entry now. When I look for those engulfing candles, you can see my chart here is called engulfing bias because this is a bias that I'm using market structure, and then the entries I'm using engulfing candles. The thing with this is I'm using one entry per momentum. So there's a buy signal here, there's an engulfing candle right here. That's the one entry for this specific momentum. Now that we have a sell signal here, we'll look for price to retrace down a little bit, come back up, and then possibly look for another opportunity for entry, up there. Looking over here at the micro scalps, we talked about this last week as well in the chat. You can take as many micro scalps as you like. If you look over here, there's actually a ton of micro scalps that came up. So these over here would have been a mess, but if you took micro scalps from here, there was one right there, one right there, one right there, one right there, and one right there. There's about 5 micro scalps that happen within this area. If you want to be careful and not just take every single micro scalp, you can just take one per momentum. I think that's fair enough. If you take one per momentum, you can lock in a couple $100 and then be patient and wait for the next one to come up. There's just different ways to identify it and to look at it. But again, if you guys want to learn these strategies, if you guys have the tools, if you guys don't have the tools, if you guys don't have the strategies and you guys just want to learn what I'm doing here, it's taught in the course. Just scroll down to the description. It says free Kodi Kai trading education right there. Most of you guys in the Zoom already have this. I mean, it's not nothing new. It's the same intro course that's been around for years now. But all right, we got price coming back down. We got that sell signal. So let's go back to our bias chart. This is fine. I want price to come down, right? Price is too overextended anyways. So that's fine. Let it come back down right here. Let it come below the bias, retrace back up, or let it retrace down and then swing back up. And we'll look for some more entries up here, right? I like this. I'd rather have price range than just continue free flying to the upside. Let's check the news real quick. Did Trump do something? Might have done something. So I use this news calendar. This news calendar is pretty cool. I don't know if you guys have heard of this BizTalk. I just heard of it. I just found it recently. It has pretty much all of the news updates right here. Like CNBC is cool, but this stuff has way more stuff. So I don't see any updates here. Just late reaction to Trump, I guess. Yahoo Finance. Yahoo's actually a better news source than the stock market today is updated 15 minutes ago. Dow, S&P, NASDAQ rise with investors on Trump tariff watch. So this is probably what caused the pump earlier. People are getting excited about the tariffs, and then here we go, the price comes back down. Other than that, I don't really see any other news events here. All right, let's see if we can find some more opportunities here for entry. Well, the breakout's done with, so I'm not going to open the breakout chart anymore. I'm just going to leave it as is. You guys can see their full TP on the breakout for 100 points. We'll look for some scalps here. Again, we don't want to trade at this red flag, so even if we do get an entry here, I'm probably going to have to hold off on it. We got a bunch of liquidity sitting right here. You guys can see the darker the liquidity, the stronger it is around this area. See how price is bouncing off this area? Probably going to shoot off that. I got 4 levels of liquidity here. I got liquidity on the 1 hour. I got liquidity on the 10-minute. I got liquidity on the 5-minute, and I got the 1-minute liquidity right here too. So looking at this here, there's no 1 hour liquidities nearby, but this is a 10-minute liquidity zone right here. So I know some of you guys like to trade fair value gaps. This liquidity is basically a fair value gap. It's on the 10-minute time frame though. This is the cool thing about the tool that I created, the liquidity indicator. You can see fair value gaps or basically liquidity zones on any time frame. Like you can be on the 1 minute, but you can see the 10-minute gap right there. So price might come up, bounce off this area, shoot right back up. The possibility. And the reason why I say that is because there's more zones here. Here's the 5-minute zone. So the 5-minute zone is actually lower. And then the 1-minute zone is like right here. You can see price is currently consolidating within these 2 zones right now. So it's nice to have multiple time frame analysis so that you guys can kind of see what's going on. But again, there's no entries for micro scalps right now. I'm looking for a buy signal to come up. I mean, technically, we could have taken micro scalps here for a sell, but like I said, I'm going to be a little more cautious with my entries here. There's just a lot of reasons to be cautious right now, right? I'm not being like overly cautious for no reason. I'm being cautious because today's the first day with Trump officially president. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can cause the market here to kind of flip-flop. Look at the fear and greed meter over here. It's 44 fear, 100 greed, of course. So like right now, people aren't getting greedy. They're scared right now. So right now, you can see that's why there's a lot of this choppiness in the market. I think this is pretty cool too. It's not retail sentiment, but it is pretty cool with the fear and greed thing here. Of course, I don't use that to dictate my trades. I just use that as a confluence to identify what's to come. So we're getting some consolidation right here, between this area. There's a couple micro scalps that came up over here. Did you get that V1 right there, Sam? I had a feeling you were going to take that V1 when I saw it come up. Yeah, it does look bullish, right? Like I said, it's bouncing off the liquidity here. We have the 10-minute liquidity zone. It's currently within the liquidity zone. It's bouncing off the 5-minute liquidity zone. And then we got the 1 minute over here. It's currently ranging and consolidating within these two zones. But you can see if you tie these together, there's way more liquidity on the bottom end for it to catapult right back up. So I just want to keep you guys well-rounded with analyzing the market, right? Whenever people analyze the market, I feel like they focus too much on just one thing, and then they fail to see what's happening across the board, because there's a lot of things happening here. It's not just that. Let me see if there's more SR zones up here. So there's no SR zones right now. I'll update that when it does update. Looking over here at our clean chart. So you can see price is currently ranging now between the 43,950 and the 43,000 or 44,000. So the range is currently happening between this area right here, right now. All right, we're swinging back above the bias. So again, right here, there's another engulfing candle. So there's no momentum though. So I try to like focus on the momentum here, but there's another engulfing candle right here. Like I said, when you stay above the bias here, it makes sense. I would like to be above the bias line though. So I would look for possible engulfing candles above this green line right here, right? So I'm looking for that buy signal to come up. If that buy signal comes up, there may be opportunities here for engulfing bias. So I think this is going to be helpful. I have so many different analysis here. We have a support resistance analysis. You can see there's no support resistance currently established right now, but this is going to help you understand where support resistance is currently sitting. There may be a resistance that's up here, and there may be a support that's right here. I just don't want to mark it up yet because it's not established. Looking over here on our clean chart, here's another analysis for you guys. This is a pretty clean chart with nothing on it, just levels. So you can see the whole number right here. These are psychological numbers, 44,000 and 43,950. It's a 50-point range right now, going back and forth between these two price points. So there goes another analysis. I'm trying to give you guys a well-rounded analysis of the market. So you guys can see SR charts, clean charts, markup charts with liquidity zones. Like I said earlier, the analysis that I marked up and I said, okay, price is probably gonna bounce off the liquidity zone down here. It's starting to play out, right? We got the 5-minute zone right there, bounce. 10-minute zone, it's still within the 10-minute zone. And on the 1 minute, it's still currently kind of ranging within this area. The main problem here that I mentioned is the sessions, right? So like I said, this is a problem here because I wouldn't want to take any trades near the sessions because whenever price gets this next to this area, it tends to get manipulated. And that's kind of what's happening here. Price tried to break past it right here. It got to the session and it came back down, right? This is why this is considered a red flag, and I don't trade around these areas because it's just a tricky area to be trading in right there. So if you guys are just joining in, guys, we had 2 entries that came up today. We had the breakout here, which hit full TP for 100 points. That's the first main entry we took at 6:30 on market open. And then I took one micro scalp right here when price pushed up from this area. So right now I'm currently up about 400 per account. I can do the math. So 490 times 20 plus 190, 190, 190, 190, 190, 190. So I'm up about like maybe 11,000, right? 11,130. I got 7 Tradeify accounts right here straight to funded, and then I got my Apex accounts, and I got my personal account right here. Personal account should have been at the same amount as these, but I took smaller contract size just that for now. Sam said, sorry, not trading. I'm getting buy and sell setup, so he's sitting away. Yeah, I agree with you too, Sam. I mean, that's why I'm sitting out too, right? Like I said, we had the V1 pattern that came up right here. I mean, my bias is still a buy, so I'm still gonna look for like mainly buys over here because obviously my bias is a buy. This is why I think it's important to have some sort of bias, right? Like you could have a trend bias, you could have, let's take a look at all the time frames actually. So let's take a look over here real quick. Let me turn off my, I don't care about time. Refresh this. Okay, so looking at the overall bias right now, the higher time frames are obviously bullish. You can see price is above the pivots, trend meter is green, pivots are angling up. 10 minutes bullish, 5 minutes bullish. 1 minute is kind of choppy right now. It's still bullish, but it's a little choppy. So I have like multiple biases here that I kind of marked up for you guys. We have a trend bias here, identifying that price is bullish with regard to all these time frames. The 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour. Again, if you guys want to learn this stuff is all taught for free in the course. I'm not trying to show anything because it's free. Like I'm not trying to sell you guys anything. It's literally free. It's just so that you guys understand what I'm talking about. I want you guys to be, fluid with our analysis here so that there's no confusion and you guys understand what's going on so that you guys can take entries here. I don't really teach anymore, guys. Like I mentor like one person per month and that's like by choice. I prefer not to teach, but people always ask me to teach. So I teach one person per month. This is how I got this idea. This is why I like teaching beginners because like I forgot about this bias markup that I used to do a long time ago. Obviously, once I created all my tools, I didn't need to do this anymore, but it helps to have another bias in the market. Like even though the trend here is bullish, I was able to identify bias here with regard to market structure from yesterday's market. So this whole zone down here is basically where market closed yesterday. So as long as price stays above this area, I know price is efficient, right? Because it's out of this area. If price stays within this area here, this means market is not efficient because it didn't go anywhere. It just pretty much stayed at where it was yesterday. So since we have price above it, this is good because it shows that price was moving down here. Now it's moving up here. Or price can be moving down here as well. It doesn't matter. We just want price to be out of this area because this is not a good area to be stuck in. So I think this is going to help a lot because, market has been inefficient for the past 3 months. If you guys have been trading with us here on the live, price kind of just sat where it was. Like we mark up zones and the next day the market's still in the same area. We're like, market literally went nowhere from yesterday. So this will kind of give you a heads up like, okay, if market's inefficient, then you should probably be careful about where you're trading and where you're entering your trades. I think that's what got us caught up in a lot of BS like past couple months, right? Like especially with the breakout. It's like the market would just stay in a specific area and it just wouldn't work out. So I'll try to put together as much bias as possible, guys, so that you guys have a good understanding of like where the market's going. For me today, again, guys, my market structure bias is bullish. So I need price to stay above this area. I'm only looking for trades above this area. If price pulls into this pink box right here, zone, this is where market was yesterday. I don't want to trade within this area. This is not an area that I'm looking to be in. I want to be around this area up here. And that's why we took a breakout. Breakout for today was a buy, broke out of that bias, went up for 100 points. Here's our clean chart, or our main chart, actually, not our clean chart. This is our main chart. You can see price here is kind of consolidating sideways. It's not really that easy to see because there's so many things on the chart. But as we move over here to the clean chart, you can see here it's a little more ideal. You can see price is now sitting in between this area here, and it's attempting to consolidate sideways. I think with us having this many different bias analysis here, it's going to improve our confidence in the market. So we got a new zone right here, support level. Price is currently bouncing off this support level right here. This is our support resistance chart. So we currently have support right here. It was resistance prior. Price broke above, retested it, it turned into a support. You can see there's a bunch of tests right here off the support level. So this is another good confluence, right? Like I said, we're looking for bias here because my bias here is bullish, right? So since my bias here is bullish, we got price bouncing off the support. It's a good sign. Looking over here on the clean chart, it's also bouncing off this level here, the 950. We got multiple analysis here for a bullish move. So I'll be looking for those buys shortly. Bullish, I'm trying to fix this. Bullish bounce right there. Bullish bounce right there. It's moving my direction, so that's good. The only problem again that we have here is the session. I mean, it's still going to be an issue right there that we're going to have to run into, but we'll see what we got. Max Samson, yeah, good one, Sean. On profits, I'm at 4K at the moment. Solid, pretty solid for that V1 variation right there. Glenn's asking, it's after 7. Are there still entries for micro scalp? So I'm probably not going to look for any entries for micro scalp unless like the volatility picks back up, Glenn. Like I'm not going to force any entries here. If it's looking good, then yeah, okay, I'll look for entries. But if it's not looking good, I'm not going to force anything. So meaning that there's volatility. Like if price moves and it climbs up nice here and it keeps going and it keeps going, then okay, great. I'll maybe squeeze in maybe one more micro scalp. The reason for that is because the volatility here has been kind of low. So I just got to stay actively engaged with the market, right? I need to understand what's going on here. Because the market can stay flat and then we can pick up on volatility here. But if the market's, if it goes back to being flat over here, obviously I'm not going to look for any micro scalps. So I'll be looking for possible opportunities, but I'm not going to take anything here. You can see the volatility here is kind of slowed down a little bit. If you look at the ATR down here, it's currently at 26 ATR. The ATR is pretty low. Again, for the people who are just joining in, I know some people are asking what entries we have we taken or what are we looking for. For the breakout today, guys, it was a full TP for 100 points this morning. Again, if you guys want to catch this breakout, just make sure to be on this live session on time at 6:30 or before 6:30. Market opens at 6:30, so we'll be taking the breakout at that time. But pay attention to what my analysis is before this. Around 6:20, I go live. And then by 6:25, we'll probably know like the direction of the breakout. All right, we got price kind of retracing back a little bit right here. It's again at the session, so it's not an area where I really want to be trading at. This is an area of manipulation. One thing that you can look for, if you guys really want to take a trade and you're looking for this engulfing bias, look for a strong green engulfing candle after one of these red candles. If you guys see that, that'll be your opportunity to hop in for a buy. Otherwise, chill out, right? Don't do anything crazy. So the bounce here worked out perfect, guys. You guys can see the bounce that I marked up right here, bounced off that support level. We're not really a support level, but it's just the bottom range. Bounced off the bottom range, faked out, shot right back up. Same with the SR zone over here. Price pretty much just retested it. It's a double bottom. Double bottom rejection off the support. Basically a W pattern, you guys can see right here. W pattern, right? So again, we want price to stay above. The problem here is that price is stuck at the session, which is our red flag area of manipulation. So I don't really want to trade in this area. I want price to kind of push up a little further. Like I want to trade above here. I don't want to trade in this area down here because this is where price gets manipulated. Looks like we might be stuck within this range for the next like good while. Seems like not really expecting too much to happen here. But yeah, only 2 entries that we took today, guys. So today we took the breakout. That was a full TP for 100 points. Some people got out at 50. Some people got the full 100. My other trade that I took here was a micro scalp on this candle right here. So this candle closed. My entry was right there. You can see when I go over this blue arrow right here, you can see my entry was right at the open of the candle, and then I got out right there about like 4 points in profit. So 2 entries there. These are my profits. If you guys have profits to post up, feel free to send them in. Again, if you guys want to learn these strategies, if you guys are on YouTube, just go down to the description. It says free Kodi Kai trading education right there. You'll have access to this course that teaches you all of the tools and all of the strategies that we're applying here on this live session. I'll try to host a mentoring session next Monday, guys. I know Maria was asking about it yesterday, but some people asked to push it back because a lot of people couldn't attend due to the holiday. Christian said we need a harmonic scanner for that pattern. Just kidding, yeah. So Christian, I'm not sure. I know you took the momentum reversal yesterday. Make sure that you have your trailing stop set to 10 points, right? I want to make sure that you have that set because I know we haven't taken a regular scalp in a while, but I have my trailing stop set to 10 points because of this type of market that we're currently in. Because I looked at the trade last week, it would have hit for 10 points. It went up like about like 15 points before it swung back down. So I have my trailing stop set to 10 points. So I'm aiming for 30, or I'm aiming for 60. What I'm doing is when price gets to 10 points, I move my stop loss and profit gets moved up with the trailing stop. So I guarantee 10 points. And then when it gets to 30, it moves up again. And then when it gets to 60, I get the full TP. So I go for the 1 to 2, but then I also aim for the 1 to 1. But if market tends to kind of get choppy like this, sometimes it'll look like a good entry. It'll come up like this, and then it'll just do this. Right? So to prevent myself from getting caught in something like that, I have my trailing stop basically set at my TP set up here, of course. But then I have my trailing stop follow it at 10 points and then moves up to 30. And then we know within this area, I either lock in 30 or lock in the full 2 to 1 or 1 to 2. So just keep that in mind, guys. If you guys are taking the scalps, here, I'll just put it right here. Breakout entry, 50-point TP. Oh no, sorry, 50-point stop loss, 100-point TP. Trailing stop at 50 points. Regular scalp, 30-point stop loss, 60-point TP, trailing stop at 10 points, then 30 points. Micro scalp, 10-point stop loss, 100-point TP, trailing stop at 2 points and 1 point. So this is what my settings are for my trailing stop, guys, just so that you guys are aware and you guys, are not confused. When I take the breakout, my my trailing stop is at 50 points. So I guarantee 1 to 1, but I aim for 100 points. For the regular scalp, it's a 30-point stop loss, 60-point TP. Trailing stop is at 10 points, then 30 points, full TP 60. For micro scalp, I have a 10-point stop loss, 100-point TP. Trailing stop at 2 points for the first move, and then 1 point after that. So basically, whenever I take these micro scalps, I guarantee at least 2 points so I can cover the commissions and fees. And then on top of that, I try to lock in a little more. So just so that you guys are aware, I don't want you guys to be confused with I'm gonna have to make another video on that at some point in the future, which is fine. But something to see there. Fuck, I totally missed that intro right there. Christian, nice work on catching that momentum reversal. I didn't even see it because I was typing this up right here. Guys, there's a momentum reversal I just came up right here. There's 2 entries that came up. There's a V1 variation as well. I totally missed out on that right there. So I was typing this stuff up and I just wasn't paying attention, but it's okay. I'm glad that Christian at least caught that entry there. There's a V1 variation right here. Sam, did you catch that? That was a perfect entry too. Because the trend here is bullish, bias is bullish, price came down, double body rejection right there, and it came up. Really nice entry right there for a V1 variation. So there's a V1 variation right there. It's still running to 60 points. And then there was a momentum reversal that happened on the following candle right there, right next to it as well. Yeah, that was a really good entry. Yeah, Sam missed it too. He was looking for the pullback. That was actually a really solid setup right there because it bounced off the liquidity. That was the key thing that I look for. When I take these V1 variations, I look for the bounce off the liquidity because that's like the deciding factor, of course. Gotcha. Yeah, Sam said the stop loss is too big. Candle is just a little too big on that one, which is fine. You play your trades the way that you want to, of course. I do agree. The candle was a little big. I don't know if I would have taken that one specifically. If it was like half the size, maybe, but looks like it's about to hit 60 points right there too. Still holding on to it, Christian, or are you out of it already? Because if you're using this right here, your trailing stop would have been at the 30. So if, I mean, it's up to you. You don't have to get out at the 30, but if you do want to get out at the 30, the trailing stop would have moved up right there. So your trailing stop should be in profit already. If you want to drag your stop loss in profit, you can move it up to the 958 price point. So 43,958, you can move your stop loss in profit right there and then just let it run to the full 60. Or you can close it out right now if you're happy with your profit so far. Looks like it's about to push up though. It's just stuck at this liquidity though. See how the price is trying to get past this red box? It's trying to, I think it's going to blast through it. There you go. Went right through it, knocked out the liquidity. Basically grabbed the liquidity right there and full TP on that. Nice, nice. Okay, so Christian got out because he had previous set it at 1 point when it hits 50. So you locked in 50 points. That's perfect, Christian. So nice win right there for you. Basically a 1 point, almost a 1.2 right there, or a 1 to 2. You just got out the 50 mark. So Christian got out here at 50 points, which I think is a great move. You got it for more than you got out with more than a 1-to-1, so that's pretty solid. So great work right there, Christian, on catching that. Again, I just didn't see it for me personally. It happened too quickly. Like you literally would have to be paying attention to this candle because as soon as the candle closed, it would have went straight in. Same with the V1 here. All right, so there's a nice entry right there for a regular scalp. This is good. I'm glad that we're starting to get this volatility in the market because for the past couple of weeks, these our regular scalps have not been coming up at all. Like there's no V1 variations, there's no momentum reversals, there's barely any opportunity for micro scalps. But this is a good sign that the market's starting to wake back up. It's kind of dead for a bit. All right, 7:20 right now. We still got a lot of time in the market, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Again, let's take a full analysis of everything, and we'll kind of see where everything's at. So let's see. Christian just posted his profits. Nice work, Christian. Locked in about 1,000. So solid profit right there on that trade. Great work. Good way to start the week, right? Starting the week in profit is always great. So, all right, let's do an analysis here again. Let's just look over everything, make sure everything is in line with what we're looking for. Looking at the overall bias over here with regard to trend, everything is bullish, right? 4 hours bullish, prices above the pivots, trend meters green, pivots are angling up. Momentum divergence is bullish. So 4-hour bullish, 1 hour bullish, 30-minute bullish, 10-minute bullish, 5-minute bullish, 1 minute also bullish. Looking over here at our bias is still bullish here. Price is kind of just sitting around this area. Again, we want price to kind of push above this green line right here and stay above it. If it pulls back, that's fine. It's okay to have a little range here, but eventually you want price to push up. As long as price stays above this pink box right here, though, it's still in the direction of our buy, so that's a good sign. We got that right there. You can see price here starting to kind of come down a little bit, but it's not necessarily. I mean, if you want to look for this, yeah, this is actually a good thing to look at. So we currently have a downwards trend right here. Once price finally breaks out of this area, it'll probably continue climbing. So that's something to look out for. It's okay. This is just a small little retracement pullback to the downside. All right. Look for that. Look for that head and shoulders to set up. There's actually a head and shoulders right here setting up. Man, there's a lot of stuff happening on the market today. The market's been kind of slow lately, but so I'm looking at this right here. This looks like it could be kind of bootleg head and shoulders, but nonetheless. So we kind of have like a head and shoulders here, kind of setting up a little bit. So this is why multiple analysis kind of helps here, because like we have a head and shoulders pattern. It's a messy head and shoulders because it's not, this shoulder hasn't set up yet. But once it sets up, it's going to line up with the same analysis I just showed you guys, right? So basically this is like the head and shoulders right here. Shoulder, the head, the shoulder that comes down, but eventually it'll come up and break above. So, all right, with the trend, we're bullish. With the market structure bias, we're bullish, of course. With our regular bias here, I mean, just our regular main chart, it's also bullish. You can see prices above the pivots, trend meter is green, pivots are angling up. Let me turn off this liquidity so it's kind of cleaner. But price is sort of going sideways still. So let's go to our clean chart. Let me clean this up a little bit. Looks like a bunch of fake outs, right? So a fake out to the upside, fake out to the downside. But the consolidation right here is still pretty flat. This is the main consolidation. Price has kind of just been sitting within this middle area. It fakes out in both directions, but then it just comes right back. So there goes our clean chart. And now let's take a look at our SR chart here. So looking at our SR chart, it's still bouncing off the support. We have a resistance here now too. All right, so here's the range with the SR chart. We currently have a support right here. Price is again bouncing off the support. The resistance is up here. See what we got. We don't really have much here to work with. Yeah, I'm not going to take any more micro scalps, guys. The volatility is just too low right now. ATR is at 25. The market's not dead. It's just volatility is low, direction's low. The good sign here is that we do have price kind of moving in the direction of our bias. So obviously we're looking for bias here. Looking for buys, but there isn't really much of a direction right now. There's another possible momentum reversal setting up right here. The only problem is that the volatility here is I mean, I wouldn't take a trade when price is going sideways like this within the consolidation. So we had some pretty decent movement here. So market open right here, we had some consolidation. And then price pushed up. Pushed down. And then some more consolidation right there. So we had a nice little window of movement here between 640, 650, first 10 minutes of like some nice movement there. And then we went into some consolidation right here. And we'll see if the movement picks back up, but okay, so there goes the momentum reversal right there. I don't know if anybody decided to take that, but it just got filled. There just isn't very much direction here, so I wouldn't really want to take it because for these scalps to hit, you want to have some volatility, right? You want it to push up and hit your TP right away. So that's where the 1-to-1 would be. Where the 10 points would be. That's where the 60 would be. It's a tough entry because the 60 is going to have to pass through the sessions over here, which is obviously red flag area. I'm just going to keep analyzing. I want to keep myself engaged in the market because, you know, when we get bored, that's kind of like where we start to fall off a little bit, where we kind of just give up with like taking any entries here. I think staying fully engaged in the market will kind of like give us ideas for entries, of course. So again, looking at this over here, you know, like I said, look for price to break past that trend line right there and continue up higher. So looking for that buy signal is going to be key because if we get that buy signal there, you can look for an engulfing bias entry. And basically look for the buy signal, look for price to stay above the bias, look for the engulfing candle, and then see where it goes from there. Nice. Sam's gonna buy 25-point stop loss, solid. The buy should be solid. I mean, it's moving in the direction of our active trade right now anyway, so we'll see. It's just the volatility here is it's kind of slow. But I mean, it looks good. It looks like price will probably push up to this upper zone right here, which is the 44,000 price. So buys here do look good. Bouncing off the support, bouncing off the lower range, momentum reversal entry, pending buy signal. Bias right there. You can see it's breaking past the trend line. It's looking good. Yeah, there's a lot of confluences here for a buy. I kind of wish I took it now, like for a late entry. It's about to hit 30 points right there. So 30 points, full TP on the, or a 1-to-1 TP on the momentum reversal right here if anybody decided to take that entry. You know, I was going to take it, but I just didn't feel really comfortable around the sessions right here. It's all good though. Analysis played out perfect. That's all that really matters. You know, whether you take the entry or not, as you want to make sure that your analysis plays through. The analysis here was perfect. We had an inside bar, retracement candle, price provided an inside bar right here. Pending buy limit would be right there. It would have pushed up, and you can see right there, push up to its TP. So the analysis there pretty much played out like it should have. There's still room for movement here though. There's still room for movement. The 60 points haven't gotten hit yet, so just keep that in mind, guys. 60 points are still on its way up. Yeah, Sam says he's still holding, which is completely fine. You know, it's just be careful around this area here where the sessions is at. It's currently near it. It's where a lot of manipulation tends to happen. Looks good so far. So we'll continue following it, but yeah, the one thing you guys want to be careful for is the sessions. Like nothing deters me more from a trade versus the sessions here. I would have wanted to take a certain entry because the sessions could easily just like flop it. So I'm just gonna, I'll see where it goes from here. Yeah, Christian said I didn't take it because the 1-to-1 RR was at the sessions. Yeah, it was tricky. It's the same thing with me too, Christian. I was kind of tempted to take it, maybe even go for the 10 points at least with the trailing stop, but the sessions kind of just threw me off, of course. So we got that buy signal there right now. It's a good setup. Here, let me see where the 60 points is at. I'm just gonna mark a line there so we can follow it. This is where the 60 points is. I mean, everything's still looking pretty good right now. This might come back and retest the trend line like I marked up earlier. Break and retest. Or it might not even retest, it might just continue pushing. This could set up for an engulfing bias entry. It's not too far out. Yeah, so if you get a strong green candle after this, if this candle closes red, which it's going to, if it's a strong green candle that kind of pushes past this area, like it's bigger than this candle here, then it'll probably continue pushing up even higher. Kind of tempted to take that even for a small little scalp. No, it's right at the sessions though. This is why it's important that I have, I should just turn on the sessions here. There we go. Yeah, sessions don't make a big difference. There we go. So you guys can see how it's rejecting directly off the sessions. The sessions play a big role in my analysis here. That's why I created the indicator to begin with, because I kept getting stopped out where the sessions were at. And you know, to prevent me from getting stopped out of those positions, I would just well, as of now, I would just start putting my my trailing stop there. Or not my trailing stop, I would create the indicator so I know not to enter any positions at that point. So let's see where price looks like it's faking back out into this area. A lot of fake outs. A lot of fake outs around this point. Let's see. Sam was asking, was that a triple confluence? So this would not be a triple confluence because the candle prior, this green one right here, broke past it. So it was already broken at that point. Let me mark up the line here so you can see it. Yeah, I mean, it was close, but this candle right here broke past it, the one right before it. So this was just the buy signal, which is still, it still would be considered a pivot scalp entry. It just wouldn't be a triple confluence. And it's also at the session. So like, check this out, guys. Look at how this this market structure right here, or like the market, the price action. So look at the price action. As soon as price, like this was looking like a really nice push to the upside. And as soon as it hit the sessions right there, it came down, right? Look what happened over here. Same thing. Looked like a nice bullish push, but it was right at the sessions, and then it came down super sharply. This is why I don't trade at the sessions, guys. I mean, you can trade at the sessions. This isn't always going to happen. Sometimes price will just blast right through it, right? But from my experience, I've noticed that whenever price, and it happened here again earlier too. So look at what happened over here earlier with my micro scalp. Pushed up, faked out. Pushed up right here, faked out. Pushed up right there. Basically 3 fake outs on that same level. It doesn't always fake out right away. Like for example, this one here blasted right through, then it faked out, came right back down. It's just looking at the price action with these candles. It's really just looking at the reaction of what happens when it reaches the sessions. You know, you can kind of tell if it's a session that's strong. Like for example, this purple line right here. This is where it acted like a magnet, right? So there's a difference. Sometimes it'll act like a magnet while price will just kind of pull to it. There's like three different things that happen to it. Either it pulls back to it like a magnet, or for example, right here, it acts as a resistance point. So are you still holding it, Sam? I thought you would have gotten out right by now, at this point. Holding risk free. I know it would have been nice if like 30 points would have been locked in. That's why for me, I like to have my trailing stop. I know my trailing stops are a little tight sometimes, but I like having them pretty close because stuff like this happens. Like I would like to have it at the 10 and then have it at the 30 because of course I'm aiming for the 60 here. But if you know if shit hits the fan like it does right here, it I at least lock in like 30 points. Gotcha, okay. So he's holding until upper liquidity. All right, let's mark up liquidity up here. There's a lot of liquidity that's sitting up here right now. So here's the thing, when price comes back up, it's probably going to knock out all that liquidity up there. Let's take a look at our liquidity zones. Huh. So all the 5-minute zones are knocked out already. Like within this specific area. There's more liquidity down here, but the 5-minute zones are knocked out. 10-minute zones are knocked out. We just have the 1-minute zones here, which are still fine. I mean, price is just kind of, you can see that there's no direction to price. It's just kind of going back and forth. It'll create a new zone and then obviously ends up pinballing through this area here. So you guys can see, I mean, these liquidity zones, the zones are basically like fair value gaps or just gaps. You don't even have to call them fair value gaps, just call them gaps. Like whenever price gaps up, that's where I create liquidity. That's where my indicator creates liquidity here. When price gaps up, see how price, there's a green bar right here, it gaps up and then it comes back down. That's the gap right there that it creates. Same with this one right here, right? Price pushes up, there's a big gap, not a big gap, but there's a gap right here where these candles don't touch and it creates another gap. So, you know, everything that I create, guys, there's logic behind it. I'm not just creating some random indicators. Like these tools here are to show you guys specific things on the chart. Obviously, you can do this stuff by hand. Like if you didn't want to use my liquidity indicator, that's completely fine. You'll just have to go look for the gaps yourself, right? You can see right here, price pushed up. There's a gap right here. And then there's another one. You can draw your own gaps if you wanted. But you know how hard that would be to do on every time you see a gap? It's a lot of work, right? It's not an easy task to follow. So To fix that, I just created my own indicator. It just does everything for me, so I don't have to actually do it. Especially if you're trading on the 1 minute time frame, right? You got to be fast on this 1 minute time frame to identify trend. Like, yes, of course, you can identify trend yourself. You want to like mark trend lines up here. You can do it yourself, but to be able to like actively mark up these trend lines and stuff like that to identify structural changes, it's not an easy thing to do. If you're on the 5 minute chart, maybe it's a little easier because you have 5 minutes to make changes every 5 minutes. But on the 1 minute, every candle counts, right? So that's why you need these tools here, or why I need the tools to mark this up for me. All right, so price again is just sitting right here at this area. It's sitting right here at the sessions. And there's just not really much of a direction here. I mean, price, of course, our bias here is still bullish. Bias is still bullish, but there's just not very much here to it's just ranging too hard. I mean, I think that's the main thing. Like our bias here is bullish, price is bullish on the higher time frames, but I mean the 5 minute looks pretty choppy. If you look over here on the 5, even the 10 minute, let's go over here to let's leave the chart up. So look at the 5 minute, everything's blocky. It's been blocky since market open. I think the price action on the 5 would have been worse than the 1 minute. 10 minute too. 10 minute here is just a bunch of wicks. So at least on the 1 minute, we can see the movement here happening, but everything else looks pretty blocky for the most part. Let's see, Christian said coming back to the trailing stop on the regular scalp. Now we're doing 10 instead of 1. It's never been 1, Christian. It's always been 10. The micro scalps have been 1. Micro scalps and regular scalps are different because you're not going for 1 or 2 points. You're going for 30 or 60 points. So it's always been this way. The regular scalps have always been 30, 60, and the trailing stop's always been at 10. Like if you look back to the like I don't remember the last time we took a regular scalp because it's been market's kind of been. Let me see if I could find a regular scalp here that we took. It's been a while. I don't think we took a regular scalp since for like the whole month because there's no V1 variations or okay, so like for this one right here, this is the last time we took a regular scalp. If you look at the official profits, Christian, it says full TP for momentum reversal, which was 60 points. But on my notes here, I said got out at 10 points due to the trailing stop on personal accounts, and 30, then retraced to 60. So it's always been 10. It's never been at 1. This is the last time we took a trade on December 30th. It's only set to 1 point on the micro scalps because you're aiming for one, like for as many points as you can get. The regular scalps have always been set to. Well, I have it set to 10 on the first one, and then it follows at 19 on the next one. So it moves it to 30. So it goes from 10 and then 30 and then 60 is the full TP. There's nothing else over here. Let's see what else we've got over here. So there's nothing else going on here. Price is still kind of just sitting around the it's sitting around the sessions right here. So again, at the same area, price is sitting right here at the sessions. I mean, I'm not really looking at trade around the sessions on this around this point. Trying to see if there's anything else that we can take. It's getting closer to 8 o'clock. So with it getting closer to 8 o'clock over here, we have the volatility start to die down. So let's go back over here to the SR chart. So the resistance over here got broken, and it is there's another resistance up here. So price is currently above this resistance. It's retesting it. And if it pushes it back up over here, it might kind of consolidate. What it looks like is price is going from zone to zone, basically. So price has pretty much, I mean, it's been within the zone for majority of the session. Faked out below here, came back above, retraced right here. And now it's into this new zone. It's actually a lot cleaner here. So over here, it looks like price, well, if you look on the clean chart, or not, yeah, the clean chart over here, looks like price was faking out around these areas, which this looks like a fake out, of course, but the consolidation is pretty much the same down here. Now it's pulled up into this new 50-point area. So if you look at the clean chart here and you compare it to the SR chart, it's pretty much the same thing. It was consolidating around here, pushed up. Same pattern. This is why we use different analysis here to see clean chart with just whole numbers. Yeah, clean chart with whole numbers, SR chart, and then our main chart over here. But you guys can see the volatility here. Actually, yeah, the volatility is clearly getting smaller. The ATR is currently at 16 ATR. So we got it right here at 16 ATR. This means the volatility is starting to get like pretty flat. It was at 20 earlier, 20, 25 around that point. When it gets below 20, that's when the volatility starts to die down. I mean, it's still tradable until it gets down to like below 15. If it gets below 15, closer to 10, if the ATR drops between 10 and 15, at that point, it's like, okay, the volatility is pretty flat. But right now, the volatility is still moving. It's just, it's not moving the direction that we really want it to. So let's see, it's just sitting here at the session. So again, earlier, this is what we've been watching pretty much for the past 20 minutes. See our price again right here is at the sessions. It's just faking out again. Price pushed above it, faked out. And there we go, so price pulls back down below it. There's nothing here to take. All right, so looking at this here, I mean, there's just not much else here to take, guys. I mean, looking at the charts here again, it's kind of just staying flat at this moment. Overall direction is bullish though. 4 hours bullish still. I mean, nothing here has changed. On the higher time frames, everything is still bullish. You can see over here on the lower time frames, everything looks messy. So 4 hour long-term direction is bullish, 1 hour is bullish, 30 minutes bullish. 10-minute here is also bullish. But if you look at the 10-minute chart, let's go to the clean chart over here. Let me take this stuff off real quick. So you can see there's nice movement here on the 1 minute. If you go on the 5-minute, it's pretty much straight flat. Candles just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. If you look over here on the 10-minute, same thing. It's just a bunch of wicks. But you can see a lot of the wicks are coming from the bottom end. So it is trying to push up. It's trying to follow the higher time frames. But there's not really much, like there's no price action on those time frames. You can see some price action here on the 1 minute, but on the 5 and 10, you can't really see much. Yeah, I don't really see too much happening here because I think price is probably going to stick to this session for a while. We'll probably see some movement maybe an hour or 2 hours later. But as of now, it looks like this here is probably gonna stay pretty flat. Yeah, Christian said there's a V1, but it's at the sessions. Yeah. So another V1 variation pattern right here off the liquidity. That would have been a nice entry, but it was right at the sessions. So the 30 points would have been right there. 60 points would have been a little higher, of course. All right. There's not much else happening here, guys. We got 10 minutes till 8. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I don't really see too much here else happening. Looks like price is just gonna stay flat. Yeah. So the good thing is that we pushed away from this area of bias. I mean, not super far, but we did push away from it. It's not that far. It's like 100 points. We're basically 100 points away from this area, but it just kind of like consolidated from this point now. So tomorrow, I'm going to redraw this bias. So instead of having this bias down here, I'm going to mark up this bias right here, where I'm going to mark up the yesterday's close and then structure on that area, and then we'll see if price pushes away from there. We want price to be moving efficiently. That's really what we want price to be doing. This is like somewhat efficient. So the market today was somewhat efficient. The reason why it's just somewhat is because it pushed out of the previous range and then it went back into this new range here. So if you think about it, it doesn't matter what time frame you're trading on. You could be trading on the 1 minute. Typically, this is how the market will move. Right? Like in order for it to be efficient, this is how the market moves. It'll range, kind of go up, maybe manipulate a little bit, then go back up, then consolidate range, then move down a little bit, consolidate range. But you don't want it to be in the same area. Like you don't want price to be doing this, right? Like you don't want it to be like this every single day. This is when market's moving inefficient because there's no direction. It's okay for price to be moving like this, right? This is okay. This is how markets should be moving. This is efficient markets. Like you have Monday here, Tuesday here, Wednesday here, Thursday here, Friday here. That's fine, right? Monday could be here. It could come all the way back up to where it was on Monday. And that's kind of what we're looking for. So I'm drawing the efficiencies, or I'm drawing the bias like around this area. So like the next day, we want price to be out of this area, to be down here. And then again, it's right here. And then again, it's right here. That'll create an efficient market. We typically don't want price to be doing this either. We don't want our price to be going this, go down, back up, back down. This again is like another inefficient market. This is kind of what we're in right now. So we'll have to see tomorrow if price goes back or if it continues to drop lower. Because what we would like to see is we'd like to see a staircase of price movement, right? So with Trump in house, I'm expecting price to be bullish. So we want to see something like this. Then Tuesday, like this. This is today. Wednesday, like this. Thursday, like this. And then Friday, bullish. This is what I would consider an efficient market with Trump president. Right? Bullish move, but it doesn't have to be like super bullish. It can be rangy, bullish, etc. And these bullish moves are typically going to be where our micro scalps happen. They'll happen around these middle areas. So All right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I don't see anything here on the Zoom. Yeah, I mean, looks good so far. So looking at this here so far, guys, we're still above the direction for our bias right now. It's actually moving pretty decent. It's just right now, price is pretty flat and it's sitting right here at the session. It's not a good area right now to really be looking for any entries. Here's our main chart. So it looks like prices kind of retraced back a little bit. However, the 10 points did get hit over here. So if you had your trailing stop set right there for the V1, it would have got stopped out right there already. It didn't reach 30, but it did hit 10 over there before it started to swing back down. Otherwise, I mean, there's just not any area here to take any good entries. I mean, everything here is kind of flat for the most part, and it's stuck at the sessions. Looking over here at our clean chart, price is currently consolidating within the 44,000 price. And then here on our SR chart, price is pretty much faked out right here. And it pulled back into the original range. It's been down here for like about an hour or so. So, all right, I think that's about it, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, today was a pretty good trading day. If you guys have profits to post up, feel free to send them in. Otherwise, these are my profits for the day. I locked in about 11,130 for the day. I just took one trade here, which was the micro scalp. The breakout did hit today, but I did not take the trade. I skipped it based off the following my risk off plan because yesterday's lost, but yesterday it wasn't a trade that we took because it was a holiday. I mean, it hit for 50 points, but it didn't hit the full 100. So, we're going for those full 100 points there. So nice way to start off the week, guys. Again, we'll come back tomorrow fresh and try to reanalyze the market, and hopefully we'll be trading in the direction of the bias so that we can start looking for some more entries, along the way. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow, same place, same time for tomorrow's live trading session.